Greetings and welcome once more to the Dracovin Empire. Are you ready to dive back into the sixth world? Yes, it is time to head into Shadowrun once more. We're heading to the deep future, an alternate world of magic and technology. If you're ready for me to open up a gateway through time, space, and the inner dimensions so that we can head to the Shadowrun universe, I'm your host and guide here, Tantus Narabanchko, I can do such things, but I require a little bit of tip from you before we go. It would be very nice if you would at least go over and be subscribed over the YouTube side of things if you aren't already over there, and let me know your encounters with Cyberzombies, our topic for today. Well, the portal is open. Are you ready to go? It's time to learn about some really horrific things. If you're ready, let's go. Well, we've made it to the sixth world. Are you ready to learn about Cyberzombies? This is an interesting topic because it's not something you as a player will encounter very often, nor is it something that a player would perhaps be. It's not appropriate. Now, there are a number of books I can recommend to learn about. My favorite one here is, of course, Augmentation. That's the one I used best out of here. But the other books that I might recommend here are, of course, the Awakenings New Magic in 2057, a much earlier edition. The Cyber Technology book. Those are both from, second edition. And, of course, the Man and Machine Cyberware from third edition. All of these do present information on Cyberzombies and kind of help you establish what you know about them. But that's a good place to begin. What the hell is a cyberzombie? What am I talking about when I'm doing? Maybe you've never heard about a cyberzombie. Now, this is a picture of a cyberzombie from Shadowrun Hong Kong, the video game. A portrait. A cyberzombie is a monster in many ways. It's a creature created through a magical process known as Cybermancy. Cybermancy is twisted. A spell, a bit of magic and technology combined together to keep someone alive after they are dead. In a way. Effectively, what it truly is doing is, if your essence has all been depleted to nothing, it keeps your body alive. What is the origin of this dark ability? Hard to say. There are groups that seemingly are connected to it. We'll talk about it a little bit. But just know, effectively, it combines the modern medicine of the Shadowrun world, so we're talking like 2060s, 2070s, the magic of this to basically force your own spirit into your own body after it wants to leave. And your spirit and body both know we should be dead. But the magic and technology in there is basically keeping you alive in infinite unlife. Cyberzombies are inhuman monsters with horrible emotional scarring, physical scarring, that is a permanent thing. There's no going back. Once you become this, you not only become dual nature, you become tortured, you're an unnatural existence that taints the astral space around you. You are truly a monster made flesh and machine. It requires a team of magicians, doctors, spiritual techniques. There are so many few facilities around the world of the 2070s that could do this. Perhaps a dozen or less that could possibly make one of these things. Because it not only has to be the most high-end medical facility, it also has to be a powerful magical lodge. And most of these places that do exist in the world are controlled by megacorps. The big ones. The very few that do exist. So the creature that is a cyberzombie is rare. It's expensive, it's dangerous, it is a monster made for a reason. Basically, it ensures that once your body should be dead, it's kept alive. And this requires inhibitors, remedial nanoware, regenerative gene therapy on the science side. On top of that, all Delta grade, may I note, all Delta grade, you having an artificial immune system, because hey, your immune system are gone, your vitals are gone, basically for the entire procedure, So the kind of little bit of an immune system they're building into you. So it's like, it's also sterile. It's got to have this massive maintenance. It's perfect. And on top of that, incredibly powerful magic that is invoked by basically someone that knows the cybermancy meta magic on top of both corruption and invoking. So powerful person that's dove it into and, basically learned some powerful meta magics. And basically then a group of spellcasters, including some spirits, that are basically able to basically keep this powerful secret, because the secret of cybermancy is just that. Yeah. It is a process. A dangerous one. Now, I will pose a question before we move on here. Where's it come from? We don't know. There are perhaps a couple of sources. The earliest people to use cybermancy and create cyber zombies seems to come from as technology. They were at least the first ones that seem to have been trying to use it. So whether this came from them directly or they learned about it, hard to say. Another group is Seder Krupp under Laufrey, the dragon. It's assumed that Laufrey may have taught those below him the secrets of it. But again, it's another one of those things. Because again, like, cybermancy isn't necessarily involving the cybernetic parts about things. It's the magical side about it is all keeping your spirit in your body after your essence has left, after the body has been deceased, basically. Basically tying you to a rotting corpse in a lot of ways. The other group is there is some signs that maybe in Universal Omnitech or Africa, there could have been something, maybe some powerful, obscure powers from tribes like Zulu tribes that may have had something similar to this that's being used for this. But regardless of where it came from, no one really knows the exact part. Let's talk about the procedure. Let's talk about cybermancy itself. What are we doing for cybermancy? How are we taking this dude and bringing him back from the dead as a horrible mechanical monstrosity? Well, we're going to need to do some powerful tests. And the first one is we're going to have to come up with a perspective magical formula for that cyber zombie. And this is a difficult thing, which can be reduced by sacrificing important items and individuals to the subject of our cybermancy. I'm going to point out something here. Individuals. Basically, while I'm making my cyber zombie formula that we're going to use for that individual cyber zombie over there that I'm going to be making, I can kill a bunch of people to make my formula easier to make. I don't need to do this, but killing them, and also sacrificing a bunch of things that are like, important to that guy, basically destroying them, great. Then you're ready with your perspective vessel to create a cyber zombie out of. Then you have to go into a deep meta plane, which is kind of like the plane of death. Purgatory, something like that. Is it that actually? I don't know, but you have to go to this place basically to connect with it for your dangerous task. Once you finish these two parts of your quest, you're ready to commit cybermancy. We've gone to the plane of death, we've created a horrible ritual. Great! It's time to do horrible things. We have to do some surgery because we're going below essence 0. Yes, we're going below 0. We're not just going to 0, we're going below. And this also involves installing a bunch of cyberware and other, bioware or anything that removes essence into our perspective super zombie. We also have to remember the invoked memory simulator. That's a critical part of it. We'll talk about what that does, but it also helps keep them from going insane and murdery. So that's a very important part. You want to put that into their brain so they don't go insane and murdery or depressed and, suicidal. Anyway, you also have to remember, you're going to be meddling the natural flows of the universe. The astral space around you is going to tear, and it's going to be really bad. So prepare your proper cleansing meta magic to keep it clean enough that you can complete your ritual before it gets corrupted enough to prevent it from happening. Top down. Anyway, once you finish this horrible implanting ritual, you got to keep them in stasis for quite a while. Basically for a week for every essence below 0 you've gone. And then you'll hopefully awake as a cyber zombie. Cool. Now, there are some negatives to this entire thing. He gets a bunch of negative BP worth of qualities, and he's got to make a check to make sure it works. But yeah, So there's some checks that's still related to there. And the thing like the invoke memory simulator, that's really important because it basically has important memories come into their brain and have them live them out as if they were right there. Because it keeps them basically connected to the world. Because if not, they become damaged and they basically go into amnesia, depression, insanity. So the invoke memory simulator is pretty important. So, negative in essence. What have we reached? There's a limit for 2070. This is the 4th edition. The limit of negative essence we've gone to with Cyberzombies is -6. We basically double the amount of cyberware someone could have. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are. There are some advantages and disadvantages to becoming a cyber zombie. Let's talk about it. Now, this is probably more cyborg, maybe a cyber zombie, because I'm going to take a pause here. There are things other than cyber zombies. Cybermancy makes cyber zombies, but there are also bio drones that are a thing, and cyborgs. Cyborgs, if someone talks about you in Shadowrun, that's when they take the brain and put it in an artificial body, which is an entirely different thing than this. You're creating a new creature. Oftentimes it's with clone brains, sometimes someone's brain, but this is basically taking your old body that you had and rebuilding it from the ground up. Cool, great. Now that we've gotten that distinction, what are the advantages, disadvantages of being a horrible cybernetic mutant? Well, first off, it's going to take you at least 2,000 million more a month to stay alive, because you need special medications that keep you from breaking down, things going wrong. And this is also if the surgery became well enough, so it's more expensive. You're dual-natured. That's a positive thing, because now your physical attacks can hit spirits because or astral beings, because you're an astral creature, but you're permanently dual-natured, both in the physical and astral plane. You get a magic score of 1 that you can't really do anything with, which is kind of weird, because if you were a technomancer, your resonance becomes 0. But you get a magic of 1 that you can't get rid of. It's 1's its lowest ever been. It's reduced to 1 if you had magic before by this entire process for obvious reasons. You also are resistant to magic, which is kind of interesting here too. So weird juxtaposition there. You pollute the astral area, so people can kind of tell something horrible has been there. You have unnatural vigor. You're superhuman. So remember that negative essence we talked about? That's important to keep track of. Let's say, for example, our cyber zombie would build negative essence of -4. What's this mean for them? Those the maximum natural attribute values are all increased by 4. So if your natural body was 6, it's now 10. That's important because it tells you how much cyberware you can jam into someone. Yeah. It means you get a lot higher body strength. This is all your stats then, too. Granted, certain ones are probably not going to be affected by things because of the entire horrific, cyber zombie creation. But, all your natural attributes are a lot higher. Your natural maximums. They're also resilient and gain the immunity to normal weapons creature ability. Yeah, normal weapons don't hurt you. So, yeah, you get some hardened armor, too. Depending on your negative essence. But then, you do have to deal with, entire madness, despair, because, you realize that, you're already dead, and that you're only being kept alive by this horrible process, and the world is a cruel, cruel thing. Yeah. They're getting better at psychologically taking care of these horrific monstrosities and keeping them in good mindsets. It's the field of, psychology for cyber zombies. It is a thing. They've created enough of them that it needed to be a thing. Yeah. So, I guess it comes down to the big flaw. Because they break down. Basically, they go crazy. It's a fundamental instinct that their mind and body and spirit are all, fighting against each other because they shouldn't be connected anymore. It's that entire thing is, even mentally, if we remove that, there is that entire thing of your body's trying to tear itself apart. You're magically tying your spirit with your body of cybernetic monstrosity. It shouldn't work. So basically you have to make a check every month and not break down and kind of go crazy and have things go really wrong, get a psychosis. It's pleasant. But, yeah, that's a cyber zombie. So, here's one of those ones that You can fight a cyber zombie. They can be an opponent. That's probably the most likely place you're going to encounter one of these things, because they are technically rare. There is necessity for this procedure to happen sometimes. And there, again, think about it this way. Because it's so expensive, the megacorp, which most likely doing it, has to do it for a reason. And it's not a good one for whoever they're doing it to. It's another one of those reasons because of all the problems that's not really for player characters. I would never recommend this for a player, but maybe for an NPC connected to those players. Maybe a friend of theirs gets turned into one. And tell a story about how trying to rescue them while still being able to help them maintain themselves. Getting them out of the thumb of one megacorp to maybe be funded and help from another who might be willing to help for enough money that they won't look into things. It's the thing is, you're never going to get out of the pocket of someone if you have that cyber zombie there. Or it could just be a horrific monstrosity that's their opponent. You think about like having, because -6 is the maximum, think about having 12 essence worth of cyberware where your maximum physical ones are really high. You are a murder machine which will destroy everything in your wake. That's the cyber zombie. That's the problem with it. Immunity to normal weapons, like resistance to magic. It is a nigh unkillable monstrosity that the major problems are mental more than anything. But you're probably not going to outlive it if you get a fight with that. It's like, I can wait it out and have it break down from mental fatigue. Yep. They're fascinating. And maybe I'll do a little bit of stuff on the other groups that are out here, biodrones, cyborgs at some point in time. They're all very interesting things introduced in augmentation. It's not that we don't have any things like this in 5th or 6th edition, again, because they're all the same. It's just they don't talk about them as much, or at least have a major book talking about them. But I hope you've enjoyed learning about cyber zombies and cybermancy. It's an interesting topic that does come up sometimes in your Shadowrun games. And hey, it's in that Shadowrun Hong Kong video game. But that'll be it for today. Please check out the rest of my things if you can. This includes being over on the Twitch side where all my tabletop stuff is recorded. This includes things like my live plays, like Fall of Amswell Wednesdays at 8. All live plays do end up over on the YouTube side of things. So check out all the old ones too. Discussing Tabletop Saturday 6, my talk show podcasty thing, which I might make a podcast eventually. But I also do like gaming, variety streams, just chatting, all that kind of normal streamer stuff over on Twitch if you just want to hang out and chat sometimes. On the YouTube side of things, that's all tabletop right now. Might make a VOD channel eventually, but yes, if you want to watch anything, please do remember, like the video over there. Make sure you're subscribed. And hey, let me know what you think. Have you encountered a cyber zombie? Do you think it would be decent to pull off a cyber zombie character? I personally, both as a GM and a player, think it would be way too difficult to handle. But could maybe a player handle it? Maybe players that are all cyber zombies? Maybe. There's maybe a story to be told there. But I think it would be a difficult story to tell. Not impossible, but difficult. Check out my social media for updates on what's going on. That's all linked below. Discord's the best one of all of them. But anyway, until the next time, I bid all of you out there a deep and wonderful farewell.